Hi, I'm Joy and welcome to the summer garden tour. It's officially summer. I can't believe it. Everything is really lush. We're in the middle of a heat wave right now, so I'm going to try to make this quick. Um, Things are like a week ahead for the most part, but not necessarily my garden. I've suffered quite a bit of setbacks, so let's go check those out and see what else we've got going on. It's not all bad, obviously. We have the balcony strawberries. They are giving us much smaller fruit. I think lack of rain is to blame, but I am trying to water better and they're still delicious. The ground cherries are starting to produce fruit. And even the one that got chewed up, nibbled up on the stem, I taped it up a little bit. It's producing fruit as well. And here's the other strawberry. They're just so flavorful, the tiny ones. The big ones, not so much. Oh, I'm seeing ants, which means aphids right there. Can't really hose this off. Well, I guess I can try, but it's not going to be easy. The chickens are doing well, surviving this heat. I took a day and cleaned out the IBC tote. I'm waiting for some good rains to fill that up, but if not, I'll run the hose and get the automatic waterer set up. These two broody buggers have been sitting here for over a month. Give it up, ladies. Give it up. The peonies are doing fairly well. I tagged them finally, and so I know what they are. They're still tiny, but they're there. The only one that I have qualms about is in there. I can barely see it because it's so puny. I do have to trim this up a bit. But, here's another one, and the main one that's doing really well is over here. Otherwise, this area is the most concerning. That bed, some of that, all of this, and over here too. The rabbits are forcing my hand on these potatoes. They have nibbled off quite a bit of plant life there, there, and especially the bags. So I'm going to be digging those up pretty soon. So far, they've left the blueberries alone. I put the netting up for the birds. I didn't think I need them for the rabbits. But we are starting to get some blueberries. Can you see it? This grape is doing well. The garlic is not long for us. I will be harvesting this in this week probably. I don't see the need to go past the 4th of July on these. They look about ready. So the tomatoes, let me see. I had 12 and I've lost a Cherokee there, the hillbilly there, pineapple there, the Tula there. I put in a marigold. The Rutgers recently got picked off, and the black crib. They were nice enough to leave me a top of the black crib, so I put that stem in water, and well, hopefully it'll root out and give me a plant that will produce something. We do have some beans coming up, although I don't know how long we have until they're also picked off. The gobstopper, Cuneo gobstopper, is bouncing all right. The glacier bush is doing good. Oh, here's another one that they took off part of it, which was the Paul Robeson. This was the first, but it's coming back. So I had an extra in the back, and I planted that, and they took one of those too. But we might have a Paul Robeson. And over here, let's see. The paste tomatoes are doing fine for now. Here's another bean, and the mung bean that I transplanted keeps getting dug up. Oh my God. But we are getting pods with mung beans. This luckily has still been saved. That's the okra coming in slow. and steady. These I seeded, and then these were transplants. And I'm so happy I'm gonna have eggplant. These have really bounced back. The death and destruction that they look like was their fate reversed, and now they're nice and healthy. This tool is keeping the, what is it called? The little bugs that like eggplant leaves so much. Little bugs, bugs everywhere. Anyway, the corn is patchy. I did put some more seeds in, but I don't know if those stayed in the ground. So we have some corn. So I bought this. I had a sneaking suspicion that it wasn't going to work because now we have baby bunnies. And baby bunnies can go right through these little 2-inch holes. So I bought a pretty big roll. So maybe if I double up, but that's going to be a lot of work. So we'll see how that goes. Over here, nothing much. The spinach I've probably harvested the last of. They are going to flower very soon. I also lost a shishito here. I still have one more starting to go to flower. This is a volunteer tomato. Thank goodness for volunteers, although I think it's a cherry, so not the greatest, but still something. And this bell is hanging on. I only have one of these, so if this is gone, then there's no more bells. This bed is mostly caterpillar damage that I'm dealing with. I really have to get in and spray that. But the red acre is bouncing back. The collard is doing all right. And the sorrel loves it here. Sadly, this bed is practically useless. I had a beautiful broccoli right under there. It's all gone. All my kale gone. I have one artichoke left on this bed. And any beans that I may have planted on the sides there never came up or got eaten. If I just shored up the fencing a little bit better, I might have some production in the fall. That's a work in progress. Unfortunately, those are also empty right now. I'm hoping I can still get those going. So far, we have beans. Second round of bean sowing has been successful. So we have the beans in coming up, and that's the summer squash coming up. The peppers here are doing fine. They've been netted all this time, so they haven't been abused. This sweet banana, it's been the same size since I planted it. So I don't know. I mean, plants are resilient and might bounce back, but I don't know what's keeping it. There must be something bothering the root system of that one. But all the other ones look good. Let's just take a moment to enjoy this nasturtium flower. These also keep getting dug up and bothered. The chipmunk keeps, I keep planting more seeds and they keep taking them away. Here's a marigold. See, there's a seed. Oh, it's trying to root. This little bed here, this daisy is coming up. That was given to me a year ago and overwintered. The zinnias are still going strong. My only hope of artichoke is doing all right in here. The aloe is bouncing back. There's green. I see there's been digging going on in there too. And the lantana having a hard time in this bucket, but it's flowering. This area of wildness, if it cools down in the summer at all, then I'll try to do some weeding for the poor asparagus. But they're just ferns, wild and free. All the lilies are up, and whatever those are. Now, so far so good on the melons. We've got germination on all of them. This covering is keeping them protected. The Minnesota midget, I had to reseed, so I do see green germination. And the Blue Hubbard's been a champion. No attacks, no disease. That's been awesome. We're going to have a bounty of these wild raspberries, I think. The echinacea is starting to come up. Coreopsis is nice. The sage is on its way out with the flowers. Also on the way out are the foxgloves and the snapdragons. I am going to trim this down, save a stalk or two for seeds. Finally, we have activity on the ginger. We have a nice healthy stalk here. This was the first one, and it's not doing much, but it's still there. And then we have 1, 2, another stalk coming up. So finally, we've got activity. So far, so good over here. Nothing's bothered the loofah. I'm going to have to start training this up towards the fence. That one's figured it out. This one's going the wrong way. To go that way. The peas are done. They're also being topped off also, but I was able to harvest most of that. And the carrots are doing well. I'm very happy with how the carrots are doing here. This bed, I'm just gonna say it's waiting for the fall. No, the cucumbers are doing really well. They haven't been bothered. This Swiss chard has bounced back. It's looking beautiful. I hate to even harvest it because then I'll have nothing to show. But yeah, these are ready to be picked. Some of those leaves. This has been a trap crop. This is a collard. It's Swiss cheese, and so has that cabbage back there that has also become a trap crop. It's another Swiss chard going, but it's always been puny. What else is coming up? I believe this is another cucumber, pickling cucumber, and I believe that's the Moroccan squash coming up nicely back there. Blue kale being protected so far, and the smattering of, let's see, collards and kales are surviving. Some more collards and kales. That's like the only nacionado kale I have left. And over here, those pickling cucumbers are doing really well. The Blue Hubbard's already flowering here. It must have more water here because it's got less sun than the one over there. It's the same age and doesn't have flowers yet. And the other winter squashes are doing very well so far. Now I suspect it was a deer because this is pretty high for a rabbit, but something came through the other day and took a nibble of this sunchoke and topped off my grape plant here. And it took nibbles along the way as well. Over here, the celery is looking fantastic, and so do the leeks. I did end up losing the Swiss chards that were in here, and I see I lost, what was it, a dill? Yep, my only dill is finally gone. And the parsley in here is still going strong. It hasn't gone to seed, which is the only one doing well so far. And for some reason, these 2 bags of leeks are punier. They might have been punier transplants also. This area I'm trying to get into more yarrow. So I have a few transplants from the established plants I already have, but I'm trying to get more colorful. So I'm going to be seeding yarrow also. These strawberries are doing fine. I had to reconfigure the mesh, but I think I'm still losing because I keep leaving this top open. But they're still producing fruit. right there. So we're still getting strawberries. Oh, in case you needed to know, you can save your air conditioning water. It's distilled. I don't know if you have this set up where you are, but there's like a little hose, metal hose there that spews out water, and I collect them for a rainy day, or in this case, a droughty day. And it fills up every day, and I don't get it all, but it's better than nothing. All right, these potatoes look about ready to be harvested also. They haven't been bothered by anything, but they have fallen over, and they're looking sad and definitely getting nibbled on. Oh, some surprises over here. If you recall, I had lost a whole chunk of established sunchokes that are in those buckets I just showed you recently. But apparently, we had some stragglers way out of the main patch. That one, and this one way out here, and the patch was right over there. So that's nice. Also, do you know what that is? That is a miracle. That is the fig. One of the figs that had been chewed up and spit out over winter. It is coming back. Can't say the same for the other one, but I'm just happy to have that one. Yeah, this whole area has gotten out of control. I really need to come in here and bushwhack so I can at least get to some enjoyable raspberries. They're not quite ripe yet, and because we have been so dry, they're not going to be the tastiest. But the awesome thing is they also do a second flush in the fall. So that's very, very fun. The other raspberry around here is not fruiting very well. I don't know what's up with that one, but I'm glad this one survived and is doing well. Yeah, so I don't know if you can tell, but these, what are these called? Jewelweed, have been topped. And the rabbits have plenty of other things to eat, so I'm pretty sure that's something else that nibbled all those. And also topped some of my asparagus in here. So what else is in here? We've got the salvias doing well, some not so much. The zinnias are doing really well over here. They really like this dappled shade. That ground cherry got nibbled on, so it's set back quite a bit. The ones I transplanted are still here, and I only had enough to protect this one, so that one's doing well. I do have a volunteer here along with my cosmos, which I seeded, and it looks like some have taken. I need to seed more. But yeah, there's a ground cherry in there, so I put a cage there for support. Over here we have the beautiful flowers of calendula. I need to start harvesting so that they keep flowering. So I've got lots of younger calendula coming up. The bergamot is doing well, and the lone lemon balm is looking fine. Unfortunately, the lavenders are doing fine. Unfortunately, my weeding escapade did not fare well for the saffron. I have maybe two saffrons left there. Over here, these strawberries are already done for the season. We have two surviving cucumbers there. And then I seeded more beans, and they are coming up amongst the dying peas. So you got beans. Oops. We also have the beautiful hollyhocks. They are up. Now, originally, the seed was these very dark, blackish purple, and then the offsprings are the more reddish variety, and even the pink. So it's nice to have that contrast. They're beautiful. Over here in the driveway, our buckets of pumpkins are coming up strong. That's the pie pumpkin. And these two are the Big Macs. And then over here we have one of each. The Astilbe is showing up. We're making progress on the fence. I think we are nearly done on this line. We still have this line to go. Now I seeded at least 100 sunflowers up the driveway. And so far I only see a dozen or so. So this part isn't as bothered by the chipmunks. So I assume the others got dug up. And sometimes they bury them somewhere else, which is cute and all, but not really. So I see no activity of very many seeds planted all along the driveway. So if the weather cools down, I will reseed. But otherwise, not so much. I did also plunk. I had some extra corn. So maybe the corn will come up here. Here are the driveway hollyhocks, also starting to bloom. This area so far has stopped being bothered. The basil has started to make a comeback over here. I'm still trying to get more plants in. I've harvested several batches of chamomile already. And whenever the wild mustard there or the collard gives me a big enough leaf, I take those, blanch them, put them in the fridge or freezer. This nasturtium has survived. We have flowers. This is some kind of flower. I know it is, but it did get topped. But someday it'll produce something. I don't know what. And then there was another plant. I think it was this one. Yeah, this one. Also, I flower, and someday I'll find out what it is. Those were two I'd done in the winter because it takes them a long time to get going. So I did them, but still don't know what they are. This is a volunteer tomatillo, which is a trap crop at the moment, so it's just fine. I don't really care for tomatillos. This foxglove is also on its way out, so we'll trim those up. The chia is doing really well. Oh, looky! This wasn't here yesterday. This is the black sesame. The plant is really puny. Oh my gosh, it's not even 6 feet tall, but they're flowering. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be bigger than this, but well, it is what it is. Here I'm just letting the radish be a pollinator patch. Oh, I don't know if you remember, but I thought I had at least one cumin left. But alas, it is not a cumin plant after all. It is actually a chamomile. So no cumin survived. The cilantro has come to flower. It's beautiful. Lots of little flies there. Have more volunteer tomatoes. These are pretty much cherry from the 100. I don't remember what it's called. These American spinach supposedly are. I trimmed it a bit. They were crowded. Here's another one I need to trim down some, I think. But they're getting to size now. The oregano is doing really well. Oh, and the moth. That moth, evil moth, is here. Of course, I can't get to it. And this is a cilantro, also going to flower. The yarrow is starting to flower. So yeah, I have mostly the golden, trying to get a more pastel palette to add to the collection. This potted plant I really need to get in the ground, but I'm afraid because these are sizable stalks that were nibbled off while it was on the ground. So I'm afraid to put it in the ground because I'm afraid there won't be any left. The sweet potatoes are doing well. And the rice also doing well. And the other rice container over here. I gotta harvest this lavender before time runs out. These sweet potatoes are actually doing well also. In the mud, in the clay there. This is just surviving now. I really need to do something about it. It's mostly leaves. The fruit wasn't that good. The onions, very proud of the onions this year. I'm doing really well, keeping them watered, keeping up with the fertilizing, kinda. See some diggings going on there. Here's the bed of volunteers for seeds of onions. Some volunteer cherry tomatoes. Super Sweet 100, that's what it's called. Super Sweet 100 volunteers. That, we'll just leave that alone. There's nothing much going on there. The green stalk, not much going on there either. This particular bushy strawberry is still giving us plenty of fruit. Yummy. But like I've said in previous, these other ones have done nothing. So we'll have to reconfigure this whole system. The celery here are surviving. The tiny tom is doing well. This one, I did put in 2 more. It's a little much, but I'll have to see how those go. What else is doing well here? I wouldn't say this is thriving, but the parsley is there. And none of the basil came up. Nope, no seeded basil has come up. Okay, this area I tend to overlook because it's out of the way, but update on the pawpaws. They are alive and growing. That's one. There's number 2 and number 3, which doesn't look as good as the other 2, but it's still alive. The limelight hydrangea is not ready to bloom yet, but the other ones are. That one's almost there. This one is definitely. And then this one, definitely in. Now, the soil is not acid enough because they're pink versus blue, but I'll take it better than nothing. And I think lastly is this currant bush that has, yep, it's got more fruits on it. Let's see. I tried it one the other time and didn't care for it. Let's see how this one tastes. Yeah, no. It's very, maybe if it's cold because it's warm. So it's a very almost meaty. No, that's not right. It just doesn't make you want to eat it. It's not great. Oh, another thing I always forget. No forgetting this time. The Bing cherries. Yes. Let me get through the wildness here. The Bing cherries are still here. They had flowers in the spring, but it's too early for them to fruit. But I had planted garlic around them, just hoping to deter something. But the garlic's up, and I took the scapes off of them too. Show you the other one. Not exactly the most convenient location to plant them in. Oh, I didn't harvest this scape. There's another one somewhere. It's all so buried. Crazy. Because you can't see these plants in the winter or whenever I planted these cherries. These plants weren't here. No, there's another one in here. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Right next to it. But it has a very tiny, tiny scape. I'm pretty sure I only had two, so if the other one is around here, it's fine too. So I'm trying my hardest to be a good gardener, and I've got all these seedlings to uppot or to plant my sweet peas. There's some Brussels sprouts and rutabaga, more basil in there. This is lettuce. This is more basil. This is tomatoes because I'm really trying to see if there's enough time in the season to get the tomatoes going. And then this is the black crim that I'm trying to root. See if I can plant that and get black crim tomatoes before the season's out. Well, by golly, that was an exhausting garden tour. I am sweat filled. Ugh, gotta go shower again. But I am gonna work on uppotting some of those seedlings first. Well, I hope you enjoyed. The tour might not have been too upbeat because I was really struggling there at the end to get my breath in. But I hope you're staying cool this summer, and I will talk to you all again soon. So well, harvest more. Bye.